Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Most Excellent Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host, Keith, and with me this week, all the way from Western Africa. This is the first time we've ever had anyone from Africa on the podcast. We've had people from a few different countries, but it's our first African guest. He is a writer and a teacher and a very interesting, creative person. Please welcome Mr. Charles Enek. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Keith, for having me. Hello, everyone. As he told you, my name is Charles Enek. FYI, I'm from Nigeria. It's always good to specify the exact country you are from. Yeah, you kind of like narrowed it down to me being from West Africa, and I respect that. I like that too, but just for clarity's sake, so everybody should know I'm from Nigeria. So, if I'm going to introduce you to my friends over here in Nigeria, I'm not going to say that you are from North America. I'm going to say that you are from the United States. So,
Gotcha.
I'm letting you know I'm from Nigeria.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Of course, of
So,
course.
Nigeria, I definitely want to talk about some of your writing and stuff, but I think that maybe some of the our listeners will be interested in some of the differences between America and Nigeria. Um, One thing that I noticed is you have like military service that you have to do, right? It's like required.
Ye- Yes, a 1 year it's like a 1 year mini military service. A
Okay.
1 year, like it's more like a mini military service. Yeah, it's called NYSC, National Youth Service Corps. Yeah, it's
Okay.
a 1 year military service. Every graduate has to do it.
Okay. How old are you when you go into when you go into that?
Um, okay, I think the it's from 18 to 35. The max is 35. I think once you're over 35, you can't do it again.
Okay. Okay.
And it's like a minimum requirement to get like jobs over here in Nigeria.
Wow.
Like not all companies like strictly demands it, but most times like civil service, like federal organizations, government organizations, sometimes even NGOs too, and all that. Even private companies, they do deserve it, but I don't think any government or federal government organization or company can employ you if you have not done the NYSC service. So yeah, that is the military service that every graduate, keyword graduate, must undergo, because you must be a graduate from a university or a polytechnic or a recognized higher institution in Nigeria to partake in that service. And it's from 18, the age range starts from 18 up to 35. So yeah,
Oh
that's
wow.
it.
Okay. So, what is that experience like? Going in there young and just I assume you come from your family and then you go into the military service for a year. How is that experience?
Okay. Everybody's experiences are different, but I'm going to speak about mine because now I'm going to be a bit honest with you. Like, it's not really the military service is more of a civil thing than an actual military service. In the case of okay, it starts out with 3 weeks in a camp, which is like, I don't know if I'm going to call it a boot camp. Let's just, like, in your own words, like, I want to use American terms so that you can understand it better. So let's call it a 3 weeks military boot camp. So
Okay.
the service, you first start off with a registration after you've graduated and your school has sent your name to the board, to the NYC board, like, for that is what they call posting for service, for the NYC service. Remember, NYC stands for National Youth Service Corps. So once your school sends your name for the your alma mater, once they send your name for the service, then you get called up by the organization. Then you are going to spend 3 weeks in a boot camp. They can post you in to any random state in Nigeria. It
Oh
depends.
wow.
We have 36 states,
Oh, wow.
36 states and capital. 36 states, then the capital of Nigeria, that is the FCT Abuja, where I currently reside. So it's like the 37th state, but it's not regarded as a state. They call it 36 states and capital. The capital Abuja, FCT Abuja. I don't know if you must have heard of the city Abuja. So basically, you get posted to any of the random states or the capital. Then when you get posted here, you enter a 3 weeks like orientation camp. But in your case, but for easy understanding, let me call it a boot camp. So a 3 weeks boot camp. In the camp, they are going to like give you an orientation. You are going to engage in different activities and all that. You are going to meet different people from all around Nigeria, both people who schooled in Nigeria, people who schooled outside Nigeria, people who might have Nigerians who might have schooled in the US, UK, or in other African nations who also want to do like the service. You are going to meet a lot of them there. We are going to go into different activities. So, like basically, we are going to be shared into platoons. Like in the military, they have platoons. So we are going to be shared into different platoons. Everybody's going to have their own hostel. Though obviously the guys' hostel will be different, the ladies' hostel will be different. We are going to be shared into different platoons. So there will be inter-platoon competitions like football competitions, but Americans, you guys call it soccer. We feel it's an insult to call it soccer though, but let's leave that aside. So yeah. So yeah. So what you guys call soccer, we are going to have us, we call it football. We are going to have football competitions, a football competition, inter-platoon football competition. We are going to have volleyball competition. Some camps even have other sports competitions like volleyball competitions, basketball competitions, and all that. Depends on the sports equipment and the sports facilities each camp has. Then we are going to also have like maybe other things like extracurricular activities like let's say knitting competition, entrepreneurship competition, like to show the kind of skills you are good at, like maybe things like clothes making, bead making, stuff like that. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So there are going to be different competitions in the camp. And I'm not even going to lie, like a lot of activities, and it's quite stressful.
Sure.
Like it's quite stressful. Like you can't even have any time to yourself. A lot of people even check out of the camp very early because they can't cope with the stress and all that. But this, I'm not going to lie, the stress is part of the fun because you can only have it, experience it once in a lifetime. Like you can only go go to NYC camp and do your NYC service only once as a Nigerian. So in as much as it's very stressful and tedious and exhausting both physically, mentally, sometimes even emotionally, it's something we do because we know that it's a once in a lifetime experience. So yeah, you are going to we wake up in the morning around 3 to 8 to have our bath. Some people 3 a.m. We wake up around 3 a.m. to have our baths. Some people even wake up as early as maybe 2:30. 4 o'clock, I think they start chasing us to go out of the hostels. Then we line up 4 o'clock, 4:30, we line up in the parade ground for morning devotion, morning orientation and prayers and all that. We don't sit down, mind you, we are standing up all throughout in the morning and it's very cold. Like
Yeah.
it is so. Can I curse in this?
Yeah,
Is
sure.
cursing
Yeah.
allowed or are we meant to keep this clean?
Totally allowed.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So it's all right, cool. So it's so fucking cold. Like it's very cold. So imagine when you're waking up 3 a.m. in the morning to have your bath with cold water, by the way. Only some people might be able to sneak out of the maybe hostel and go and pay some people to boil hot water for them. But we have our bath with cold water early in the morning. Um and my camp was close to a very cold terrain. Like the environment were a lot of hills. And you know when you're surrounded by hills and all that, the place tends to be very cold.
Yeah.
So a lot of hills, water and all that. So the camp was very cold, like extremely cold. So when we wake up in the morning, we stand out like with our because in the camp you wear white. You know how in military camps you wear white and white and all that.
Okay.
So we wear white. We have everything white,
Cool.
white,
Yeah.
white tees, white shorts, white socks, white shoes, and all that. So we have our morning orientation, morning devotion, other things. And then we also do, then I think by 6 a.m., we also do parade march. parade trainings, like parade practices, and we do other things. Like there are a lot of activities. Just know we are going to be doing activities from morning till afternoon. Then in the
Okay.
afternoon, we'll have our morning breakfast. Then we have our breakfast in the morning. Then we also do some activities till the afternoon. Then even in the afternoon, we just have like 30 minutes rest window. We have like a 30-minute rest window before we come out for afternoon and evening parade practice. Then even at that safe, we have our supper. Then after that, we are still going to have like an evening like activity, and the activity ends by 9, lights out 9:30. Then you are supposed to go to bed. But obviously, people will still be doing things up to 12, then you start again. So, like, it's you can see how everything is choked up. The activities are quite
Yeah.
choked up. So, yeah, it's quite like the experience is, I'm not going to like, the experience was something else. But to be honest, I made a lot. I'm going to speak about my experience. I made a lot of friends. The activities, even though they were exhausting, they brought me and a lot of people together. I met different people. We engaged in different things, connection, networking, and all that. And yeah, it was a once in a lifetime activity. And in as much as it was stressful, I was really grateful for the camp experience. And when I left the camp, I'm not going to lie, I missed the camp. So
Oh,
after that, we now get so that is for the camp experience. So are you
yeah.
still with me? So
What?
that's for the camp experience.
Right.
So
Sure.
after the camp experience, we get posted. Yeah, so after the camp experience, we get posted to where we are going to be doing our service. It's what they call PPA, permanent place of assignment. PPA, permanent place of assignment. That is where you are going to be doing your service. Now, most PPA posting, most PPA postings are in like maybe civilian organizations, not necessarily military organizations. Just very few people will get posted to military organizations. Most of us are going to be posted to civilian organizations, but it's still part of our 1 year military service. So we are going to be doing that. Then every week we have what we call CDS, Community Development Services. We are going to be doing all these things until we graduate from the service, which we call passing out. We are going to have our personal parade where they are going to give you your certificate for your 1 year military service, and also any other achievement you had during the 1 year military service, like probably you were the president of your CDS or one or two things, or you were a Red Cross member or something. They're also going to give you certificate there and then. So yeah, that's just basically how the 1 year military service works in Nigeria.
Wow. The camp sounds exhausting, man. That is just there isn't a lot of time
It
to
is
sleep and
very
like
exhausting.
no time to yourself, man. It's just wow. That's that's a lot, man. It's amazing that you went through it, man. That's very cool.
Like for real.
Man, awesome. So geez, so after you got
Yeah,
out,
yeah, thanks.
yeah, this is a
Thanks.
lot. You're welcome. Yeah. But after you completed the military service, did you go to university after that? Is that when you
Uh-huh.
okay, and I'm trying to think. What do you?
No, it seems you don't understand me.
Yeah. Well, what were you saying, Charles?
You wanted to ask me something else. You said you were trying to think.
Yeah, I was just asking
You
if you
wanted to
went to.
ask me something else.
Yeah, I was just asking if you went to university right after the military service.
Okay. Okay. It seems you didn't get me the first time.
Yeah.
The military service is after you pass out from a higher institution.
Oh
So it
wow.
is when you
Okay.
pass out from a
I was
university.
gotcha. See, I was thinking it was high school because 18 in
Yes.
America, you don't really graduate from high school until you're
No, no, no.
okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, I caught that, but I thought that it was
Yeah, yeah, I get.
okay. Okay.
Yes,
Um.
yes. No,
So
that 18 is like the okay.
okay.
No, most people go to camps when they are in their 20s, but that 18 is like the
Gotcha.
minimum. Maybe if
Oh, okay.
in case you might have graduated from university at a very young age, maybe you were a
Gotcha.
prodigy or something. So it's
Okay.
just the minimum. But ideally, people go for the service in their 20s. In some few cases, people in their 30s, but those are just few cases. Mostly people
Sure.
in their 20s.
Okay. Okay. So I guess we'll back up a little bit then. Um, you went to university, and honestly, man, I'm a pretty smart guy, but I didn't really understand what it was that you went to school for. Was it something mathematical? Is that what it was, or
Yes, yes,
okay,
yes, industrial mathematics.
gotcha.
Industrial mathematics. That's what I
Okay,
studied in the university.
so okay, I'm pretty ignorant of Nigerian universities and things of that nature, but uh, do they have creative courses, or is it more geared towards careers, like practical
That's
careers?
that's
Like,
a
yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty smart question.
Hmm.
Um, yes, they do have creative courses in my Nigerian universities, but I'm not going to lie. The courses are predominantly professional and career courses
Okay.
because you know the cultural disparity between countries like the US and Nigeria,
Yeah.
like the disparities are quite wide and they are numerous. Like Nigeria and America. Like first of all, our culture, our needs, our ideologies, even the states of these two countries are not the same. So basically, most of the our educational system, they are not the same. They are not the
Sure.
same.
Sure.
Yes. So yeah. So most of the courses now I don't now the factors causing these things, um like there are multiple factors that are in play to why these disparities are in motion. But most courses over here, especially in public universities, especially in, like, when I say public universities, I mean government and federal government owned
Mhm.
and managed universities. The courses are mostly career courses and professional courses.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that some public universities don't also offer maybe creative courses like, let's say, theater arts or journalism, or maybe even things like creative writing or something like that, or even art or so. But they
Mhm.
are very few. They
Gotcha.
are just like a handful.
Okay.
So it's mostly you can mostly find those things in private universities. You can mostly find those courses in private universities. And mind you,
Mhm.
even in private universities, courses like that are still, should I call them, they are still the minorities. I will call them
Gotcha.
minorities. Courses like that are still minorities, even
Okay.
in private universities. The only thing is that you are more likely to find courses like that in private universities over here in Nigeria than in public universities.
Okay.
So yeah.
Um. So you mentioned there's like government sponsored universities. We don't really have that here at all. So um,
You don't
do,
have that in the US?
government sponsored universities? No, it's all private. Yeah, it's all private
Oh
universities here.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, no government
Oh,
sponsored.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm interested in that. Like, do you? So we have high school here that people go to, and then when they get done, it's kind of on them
Yeah,
if they continue their education or not. Um,
yeah.
with the government sponsored universities, is that something where the government pays for the education, or how does that work?
Okay. Okay. I like the questions you asked. They are quite inquisitive. So yeah, basically the government sponsored universities, they work in the aspect of, like, the government just like pays a subsidy to
Okay.
reduce the cost of tuition and all that in the
Okay.
school,
Okay.
in the government and the federal government universities, especially federal government schools. Federal government schools are always cheaper than state-owned universities.
Okay.
Like, let me use American for example.
Yeah.
We have think about it in using American terms. Think about it like this: there are American universities like that are sponsored by the federal government of America. I think what do you guys call them? You guys have the should I maybe I might call them like the Congress in America. Maybe
Sure.
you guys I think you guys have Republicans and Democrats. So let me just
Yep.
say maybe the Congress or the White House or all of them in unison sponsors. Think of it as maybe all of them in unison sponsoring like federal government American universities. but they are just like these sponsorships are just to like cut down the costs of tuition fees for the
Gotcha.
common man in
Okay.
America, so that maybe if maybe tuition fees in an average American university like the average American university tuition fee, maybe the average American university tuition fee might be like $10,000 or so. I don't know how much it is. Maybe
Sure.
$10,000 or $20,000 or so. Maybe if the government cuts it down, it can be something like $3,000 or $5,000
Hmm.
US
Okay.
dollars. I don't know if you can get the
Yeah.
picture I'm trying to paint. So it's something like that where the government just pays some amount of money for us education subs. We call it education subsidy, so
Okay.
that people can be able to afford the tuition fees over in Nigeria. So, and as I said, federal government universities are cheaper than state government universities. Now, obviously, it's a no-brainer that the universities that the POTUS and the Congress and maybe other federal government bodies in the US are going to sponsor. They are not going to be as expensive as maybe a university in New York,
Hmm.
a university that the New York government is going to sponsor. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand.
Like,
It's yeah. So I'll just explain a little bit
yeah.
how it
So
is
it's
over
just
here.
that.
Yeah, so we have grants and we have scholarships. Um
Uh-huh.
and grants are income based most of the time. And
In what?
are income based most of the time. Like you submit how much money you make and then you may be able to get a grant based on
Okay.
that. Scholarships are merit
Okay.
based. So most of the
Yeah.
time they can also be based on there's different foundations and stuff that will give you scholarships that'll pay part of your
Yeah.
college. But we don't have any we don't have any government sponsored entire universities. They're all private. So
Oh,
it's a
okay.
little
I
different.
understand.
Yeah, it's a little different, but
Okay.
we do have grants and scholarships that will help pay for your education. We just don't have
And you
any.
have student loans, right?
What's that? I didn't understand.
You have student loans, right?
Yeah, student
You
loans.
also have student loans, right?
Yeah, student loans. Yeah, we have student loans. Yeah. Yeah. So if you
Okay.
can't get grants and scholarships to cover everything and you still can't afford it, you can take out a loan. Um, Student loans pretty much get approved no matter what. But then they
Yeah.
put you in pretty severe debt. So that's tough. But
Yeah. It's quite tough. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Funny thing is, first of all, before you continue, what did
Yeah.
you call that thing where you say that you said when you're talking about like the grant, you call this cumbersome grant or something. What did you call it again?
Yeah, a grant, it's like most grants are federal. So you apply to the government with your income, like how much money you make,
Yes.
and then you ask for
Yes.
money to help. Um, there's
Okay.
also
So which?
private.
Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna
Okay.
say there's also private grants that you can get from businesses who want to help kids with their education. But all of that is
Yes.
usually based on how much money you make.
Okay. Okay. Just to be sure, because there was a particular word you used for the
Yeah, I said
government grants. I
income
forgot.
based. Yeah, I said income
Okay,
based.
income based. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
that is it. That is
and
it.
it
Income based.
just how much money
Yeah.
you make. Yeah, yeah. It's based on how much money.
Yes. That just
Yeah,
okay. Okay. Funny enough, speaking of we don't have much grants in Nigeria, though we have scholarships, but the scholarships are mostly for um people who really like okay, they are scholarship exams, but these scholarship exams are just like most times are they are just mostly for like yearly funds. Like for example, I don't even know if they still do these scholarship exams because I
mhm.
know that when I entered the university around 2016, even 2017, 2018, they were still taking scholarship exams. But I don't know if they are still doing them now. They should still be doing them now.
Mhm.
Um, Basically, the scholarship exams are just to like give you money to support yourself
Oh,
in your
interesting.
academic year.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
It's
don't know. There might be some that might pay your tuition fully. I don't know. I
okay.
don't know. But most scholarship exams I know in Nigeria for higher institutions. And when I say higher institutions, I mean universities and basically universities and also college of educations. I don't know if you guys have college of educations in the US. Basically universities and college of educations. Okay. We have in the three higher institutions we have in Nigeria are universities, polytechnics, and college of educations. These are
Okay.
the three higher institutions we have in Nigeria. But
I wonder.
universities are always the top.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that would be like
You wanted to
Ivy
ask?
League. Yeah, I wonder if that would be like Ivy League schools here, because here we have Ivy League schools that are just based on education. Like there's not uh if the, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of how
Like
to
the best schools
articulate
in
it.
the US. You mean
Yeah,
the best schools in the
yeah,
US?
Ivy League is all it's all education based. Like you get into it, you get into those schools based on your marks. You can't get in pretty much any
Yes.
way. And then we have
I get what you're saying.
regular colleges, and then we also have business and technical institutes and community colleges. So that's
Okay.
kind of what we have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The those should I call them those groups, the way you grouped them, that is how universities, polytechnics and colleges of educations are. The way you grouped them, that is how these three higher institutions are. How you group them as universities, they are also technical colleges, business schools and all that. That's how it is here. But Ivy League, in Nigeria terms, Ivy League are more of like the best universities in Nigeria,
Mhm.
just as Ivy League schools are like the best universities and colleges in the US. Ivy League over here, but we don't call them Ivy Leagues. We just call them like the top schools in the top universities in Nigeria. So they're like
Okay.
the top universities in Nigeria, and that's that. So then now coming back to like other things about when you, because you know you asked me about um scholarships and grants and all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about grants, but these are how scholarships work in Nigeria. Then we also have recently the current government in Nigeria introduced student loans. Before we didn't have student loans in Nigeria. Actually, back in the days, in the 1970s, 1980s, there were student loans there. Obviously, I'm not as old as that.
Right. Sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I never lived through that era. So I'm talking about the era I lived through. So
Okay.
before there were no student loans in Nigeria, but recently, I think in 2023 or so, the current government, when they entered in 2023, they introduced student loans. But I don't even want to get into that because
Yeah.
you might think your own student loans are bad. Well, your own,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie. Your own student loans, like they put people like in debt for a long time.
Yeah.
But in fact, let me not even go into that. So
Okay.
yeah, the student loans over here, they are not really something that they are to me, they are nothing to write home about. They are not things that I would advise people to take. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
Tough.
yeah, student loans in Nigeria, yeah.
Yeah. Um. So now let's get into uh some of the stuff that you do creatively and things of that nature. So you went to school and you studied industrial mathematics.
Okay.
Um, did you want to be a writer even then,
Yeah.
or when did that spark kind of come to you that you wanted to write?
Okay. So
Oh, and I want to do like,
originally, when
can
I
I do it?
entered the,
Can I do a second part to that? Um, because this is interesting to me
no,
too.
please go on, please.
Sure. So as when you realize that you want to be a writer, in a country where it seems like it's very focused on careers and community and things of that nature, how uh how do you even go about that? Like, how does that even seem like something you could do? Yeah, those are my questions. That's my question. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I like these questions. These are thought-provoking questions.
Yeah.
So first off, I'm going to tell you that I started writing like professionally like in the year 2020. Um, though I didn't take it much serious. I didn't really take it seriously because FYI, I also do music too. I'm a hip hop artist, but I paused. Yeah, yeah, I paused my music career in the year 2022 because that was the year I was in my final year in the university. So I wanted to finish up with the university and all that. And also, I was going through a bit of an existential crisis and identity crisis and stuff like that. I just needed to rediscover myself because there's one thing I believe in art, not just in music and writing. I believe that to make very good art, you need to know who you are.
Hmm.
So, and you know, we are always becoming new people day by day. Like the same person, like you, Kit, the same person you were yesterday is not the same person you are today. That's just the gospel truth. We are always changing, evolving, modifying as human beings. So, so yeah, so I paused my music for a while to like focus on other things because I think I needed to discover my who I was outside of the music. But basically now coming back to the writing, in the year 2020 I started writing. So I started out as a poet because I had friends who were into poetry and all that. So I started out as a poet. Then I also landed my first freelance writing gig because my freelance writing gig also like encouraged me to go deeper into writing. So I landed my first freelance writing gig as an article writer for a Canadian radio's company. I'm not going to disclose it.
Okay.
Um, for a Canadian radio company in the year 2020. So I wrote an article for them
Okay.
on Black feminism and also on feminism too. So I'm not going to lie. As of then, I didn't really take it that much serious because I wasn't getting much writing gigs then, and also I was focused more on my music and also on my poetry. I even wrote more poetry than articles and all that year,
Oh,
and I was focused on other things too, and also I was also hustling to make money and all that. So I ventured back. I won't say I ventured back, but I took writing like I took writing more passionately and very seriously last year when I
okay.
was still serving because I told you about the 1 year military service in Nigeria, right?
Yes. Yes.
So last year was my service year. I passed out from my military service, that is the NYC service last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so last year was my service year. So I passed out last year, October. I started last 2023, November, December, and I passed out last year, October. 31st of October was when I passed out from my NYC military service. So it was when I was doing my 1 year NYC service. That was when I decided to take my writing like very seriously. So so basically I won't say that I always had the yes, I've always had the knack for writing, even when I was in the university. But I won't say I always had the dream of being like a writer and all
Okay.
that. It was one of the it was an interest I had, but I didn't really picture it as something take like I might take up like very professional. I might take up like professionally. I didn't think of it as something I might take up in a very professional manner.
Sure.
So basically, yeah. So basically, last year, after, when I was still undergoing my um, NYC service, I took it up and I was more serious with it, and I was getting some more writing gigs, and I also decided to start working on my poems, like resume writing poems and other things. And I also ventured into other areas of writing, like academic writing, technical writing about like tech, AI, and other things. And
Wow.
yeah, so yeah, that is just when I really like ventured into the world of writing, like in a more in-depth manner. It was last year. Yeah.
I mean,
So that's
that
it.
is,
I don't know if I answered your question,
no, yeah,
the
you
first
did.
question.
Yeah,
I
you
hope I
did.
answered the first question.
Yeah. Um, that is honestly, so I've had a lot of writers on the show. Um, for you to be so diverse in your
Uh-huh.
subjects is that's rare. Like not a lot of people do that. Like uh I also you didn't mention this, but I know you've done some short stories. Um
Yeah,
and I was interested because one of your short stories is like a horror story, but it's based on something that actually
yeah,
happened. And that's
Yeah.
an interesting thing. And yeah, basically, I
Yeah.
mean, do you have an area that you like to focus on in your writing, or are you just open to
Okay.
whatever the world throws at you?
Yeah. So it's a little bit of both. Yeah, it's a little bit of both. And I'm still going to answer the second question you asked,
Yeah,
the
sure
two
about
parters
the
question.
yes,
Still
yeah,
going to
we
answer that
talked
one. So
about that too.
yeah, so it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
In the aspect of okay, what made me go into writing? As I told you, I first started like serious. When I say professional, like I first started writing. Though I will not like even like as a child we must obviously almost everybody as a child must have written one or two things like stories, poems, and all that, but not really serious. So it
Yeah,
was just like goofing around and stuff like that, and also a bit of FAFO, fuck around and find out, that kind of thing. So when as I told you, I started like seriously 2020, but I wasn't that serious until last year. Now, even my story writing, like my scary story brand, I started it last year
okay.
because even when I started writing, I told you in the year 2020 when I started writing, I started with poems, articles, and all that. So my story writing brand started last year,
Okay.
where I write short, scary stories and all that, and also even other areas I ventured into, like academic writing, technical writing, and other things. Even news writing were last year too. All these things happened last year. So,
Wow.
but yeah, let's talk about my personal brand now, which is like
Yeah.
scary story writing. So, I ventured into that last year, and that's where I focus on. That is the niche I focus on when it comes to my personal brand. But I'm also a freelance ghostwriter. So, if someone pays me to write a story for them, like a fictional story, or write something based on real life, or maybe a news report, or maybe write their autobiography or their memoir or stuff like that, and they want to pay me, hell yeah, I'm going to take up the job.
Of course.
So because obviously cash is involved and all that, so it's still part of my work, but that is on like the professional level, on the freelance level. So my writing is in two parts, like my freelance part
Hmm.
and also my personal brand. So my personal brand is more of story writing and more specifically scary story writing and also poetry. I'm even working on my second. I don't know if I told you I have like a poetry anthology. I don't know if I told you about it.
No, that's really
I ever
cool.
told you about it. Yeah, so
Awesome.
I have a poetry anthology I released in the year 2020. It's
Okay.
called Curious. Curious. So I'm working on the second part, Curious 2. The second part is Curious 2, Alone with
Okay.
My Ill Mind. That is like the theme of this Curious 2, Alone with My Ill Mind.
Awesome.
So I wanted to release it this year, but I plan
Mhm.
on releasing it next year.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I might also send you a link to Curious One, the
Awesome.
modified version. So yeah, so I'm working on my second poetry anthology. Yeah, but I think I'm going to release that next year.
Okay.
So yeah, so basically for my own personal brand, as I told you, on the freelance level, I write articles, news posts, even fiction for people, non-fiction for people, and all that. I am very diversified when it comes to my freelance writing. But in my personal writing, I'm mostly a scary storyteller and a poet.
Okay.
So these are the areas I specify in when it comes to my personal brand. Then now coming back to the second part of that,
Yes,
or
please.
the first two questions you asked me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not going to lie. In a country like Nigeria, chasing your dream is very hard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, you are fighting multiple battles on multiple ends. Like, you are fighting the aspect of, first of all, a starving artist cannot create art. That is just the gospel truth. A
Right.
starving artist cannot create art. So, first of all, I know you must have heard across the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You must have
Yeah.
come across this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yes. So,
Mhm.
not to like throw ourselves under the bus or anything, but like the average Nigerian is still like battling with the first two steps of the first two grades in Maslow hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
So we are always working towards making money and always working towards um gaining things like shelter and stuff like that.
Sure.
So yeah, so when you have to like work towards like feeding yourself, paying bills and all that, it's very hard balancing it with art, with your art. Now it's much more harder when you are a student.
Hmm.
Imagine when you are a student, you are studying, you
Yeah.
are creating art, and you still have to look for your daily bread and stuff like that. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So that's why when a lot of people give up on their dreams here, to me, I can't really blame them. Though in Nigeria we have a saying, a lot of creatives, we have a saying, we creatives in Nigeria have a saying, now who give up, now him fuck up. Basically, anybody who gives up is the one who fucks up.
Ah.
That is the
Yeah.
same in Nigeria. Yeah. So
Oh,
so that is the English translation.
yeah.
Now give up nine fuck up. That is just like the Nigerian language. That's just like the lingo. That's like the same in the lingo. But in English, anybody who gives up is the one who fucks up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically, but me, I don't really agree with that because when you are facing all these challenges, it's
Hmm.
hard to stay consistent and hard not to give up on something like that.
Yeah.
So, unlike maybe a country like America, where I'm not saying that you guys don't have your own issues and all that, but
Sure.
the bare minimum is met for most of you guys. So not every Nigerian can boast of this. Not many Nigerians can boast of this. So
Yeah.
where people are still battling for the bare minimum and stuff like that, it's hard to create and other things. So yeah, so balancing create like your creativity and also other aspects of life, other things, it's not really easy. In fact, even when you have the bare minimum met, it's not even still easy balancing creativity and your work life and other aspects. Now, it's much more. Now, imagine how much worse it is when like the bare minimum is still like it still feels like a fighting battle, stuff like that. So yeah, it's not really easy. So you know, balancing the aspect of looking for your daily bread, balancing the aspect of paying your bills, balancing also other, and I've not even got into like personal issues you might have, like
Hmm.
maybe most personal issues might still even also be finance related, but maybe also other things like maybe emotional or psychological issues. And
Sure.
mind you, most people might not even count these things as serious issues because an average Nigerian might still even be battling with his financial and material issues,
Yeah.
much less talking about psychological and emotional issues. So now also battling with psychological and emotional issues, then still balancing all these things with your art. Though psychological and emotional issues are also great inspirations for an artist's
Hmm.
creation.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are also great inspirations for that. But even at that, still balancing all these things are not easy. Like they are really hard. So when people back out and all this, I don't even blame them. Like I even have a friend, and mind you, this friend is one of the people who even inspired my love for poetry. He told me he gave up on poetry this year
Ah.
because and something that apart from the fact that nobody's even paying attention to his work, which is also another issue a lot of creatives face because it's heartbreaking when you create, you write something, or whether you're a musician or you're an artist, you're a visual artist, or you are a poet or you are a writer or whatever art you make. It's heartbreaking when you spend a lot of time, like a fuck ton of time creating your work, and very few people like actually pay attention to it. It's
Yeah.
really heartbreaking and disheartening. So like she told me that is demoralizing him. And apart from that, his dad recently died. So he has to be the man of the house now and all that. God rest his dad soul.
Yeah.
So he has to be the man of the house and all that. So all these things are overwhelming. Like they are really weighing him down. So he told me he wants to give up on poetry. I told him I understand, but I wouldn't advise him to give up on poetry because his poems are actually inspiring people and he might not even know. Like
Yeah.
even me, poems this guy wrote as far back as 2018. I go back and read all these things and they really strike me and they also motivate me to write my own. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
No, I do. I
So
understand.
they really strike me. Yeah. So they really strike me and they motivate me to write my own. So I told him if he needs to take a break, I understand. The break can be as much as he wants. But I wouldn't advise him to. I told him I wouldn't advise him to give up on poetry totally. That even if he takes a 2 year or a 3 year break, she should still come back to it because
Yeah.
it is still touching people's lives. So that's what I told him. So I'm just painting this story, giving you this story to paint a more vivid idea of how hard it is balancing your creative life with your work, with your working life, with your career life, and with also like your personal issues you might be having. I've not even gone into areas of psychological and emotional issues and all that. So yeah, it's not really easy at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, honest, like I admire the fact that you continue to create under those conditions because in America, it's even more so now. But even as when I was a child back in the '80s,
Uh-huh.
you're encouraged to chase fame. You're encouraged to aspire. Like that's kind of the whole culture over here. The highest paid people in this country are athletes and movie stars. You
Yeah.
know? So it's yeah, it's a very different culture, man. And that was kind of why I wanted to get into
Yeah,
it a little bit. But I admire you continuing to write and release things, man. That's very cool. So um, and
I
you talk,
appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, no, you're welcome, man. And you talked a little bit, and this I wasn't aware of this because, believe it or not, I actually did some research on you on the internet and found things, which was really cool. But
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah, I found stuff. Yeah, that was how I knew about your short stories and things. I mean, you had said that you were a freelance writer, but I actually found all this stuff. I researched you, man, so it was really cool that you had some stuff out there.
Well,
I
I'm flattered.
Yeah,
I'm flattered.
of course, sir. But I didn't see anything about the music, so that's new to me. Do you want to talk a little about the music? Like, are you still creating music? What kind of music? You said it was hip hop. Is it like what genre? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you want to just go into that a little bit, that'd be cool.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I want to go into that because it's still now. I tell people this thing: you cannot talk about Charles Enek without talking about the music because the thing is that I took down a lot of my releases, but I still have an album on Audiomack. It's the first album I released in the year 2020, and I am damn proud of that album because I know the work I put into that album. It was my first body of work. So the thing is, as I told you, I paused my music in the year 2022.
Mm.
And from the look of things, I think I'm going to resume making music next year. But that is a story for another day. Yeah, so now talking about the music, why am I even seeing a story for another day? We're talking about my music life. So I can even as well go into it fully. So yeah, so basically I have been okay, so my niche is like hip hop, like rap actually, because I make rap music. I don't want to say I made because it will look as if I have given up on it totally. It's still
Mhm.
something I plan on getting back into later on, but I just paused it for now. So I just paused it indefinitely. Indefinitely, I paused it indefinitely. So I have always had love for music right from when I was a child. In fact, growing up, my mom even told me that when she used to take me to church, after the church service, I would just go and watch the church band playing
Yeah,
like their drums and all that. Then when she takes me back home, I will just get some books and some cartons and some things and start carrying and just look for a stick or some pencils and all that and start making my own drum set and be playing them like that. That kind of those silly things we do as
yeah,
kids and all that. She told me that's what I was doing. I don't remember this. I'm not even. But she told me that's what I used to do when I was a kid. So and also when I was in I've always been in the choir.
mhm,
Um I was in choir when I was in high school. In fact, when I was a senior in high school, like in my last year in high school, I was the choir master of my choir. So I've always had that love for choir. I specifically a Catholic choir because I'm a Catholic.
okay,
So yeah, I was the choir. Yeah, I was the choir master when I was in my last year in high school. Over here, we call it secondary school.
Okay.
So we call it secondary school in Nigeria, but yeah, high school basically. So even when I entered the university, I was in my school choir. I was in my school Catholic choir. So I've always had that love for choir. Mind you, even when I was in my NYC camp, like the military camp I told you about, 1 year military service, I was the
Yeah.
choir master of my platoon because my platoon because in our camp we had the Christmas carol because I went to camp during Christmas period, so we had the Christmas carol. So the choir of my platoon, I was their choir master.
Awesome.
I was their choir master. But mind you, this my music was still on pause. My personal music was still on pause during this period. So I'm just telling you all these things to show you like the history of how of my history with music and all that. So, but now coming to the music professionally. Sorry, are you still with me? I just want to be sure. Are you still with me?
Am I a student? Is that what you asked? I couldn't hear what you asked
No,
me.
I'm asking. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah, I can still hear you, man. I'm honestly, I'm
You
glued.
can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Yeah,
Okay,
you're
okay,
very
okay.
engaging, man. I'm just listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks. So, so, coming now to my personal music life, I think I released my first track in the year 2017. Though, I started exploring my interest in rap in the year 2014 when I graduated from high school. That's when I started exploring my interest in rap and music and hip hop music when I graduated 2014 from high school. So, I released my first track in the year 2017. I was already in the university when I released my first track, and since then I've been releasing more tracks after tracks. Like my niche, like the particular genre of rap I was into was more of hardcore rap and conscious rap because I took inspirations from rappers like Eminem. He's my favorite rapper.
Okay.
Eminem is my favorite rapper. Then I also took inspirations from other rappers like J. Cole, um, Kendrick Lamar,
Okay.
um, 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 Thompson, um, Tupac. Tupac is my second favorite rapper. He's
Yeah.
my second favorite American rapper. So Tupac. Um, yeah, I listen to a variety of rappers. I also love Kanye, not just even because of his rap skills, but because of his like Kanye is a musical genius.
Yeah. Sure.
The kind of sound he creates, like his experimentation with hip hop, like it really touched me and all that. So I took inspiration from rappers like this. Then now coming back home base because I'm not going to do just if I'm talking about like the musicians who inspired me, like because I wasn't just inspired by rap musicians, I was also inspired by other artists in other genres. But let me just talk
Sure.
about hip hop now. So coming down to Africa, Nigeria specifically, I'm not going to do justice to my rap inspiration if I don't talk about like the hip hop artists in Nigeria who inspired me. And the very first one I'm going to call, you can search him up, is the hip hop artist called M.I. Abaga. M.I. Abaga. Like
Okay.
he's my
Emma.
favorite. Like he's my favorite.
Okay.
I don't know if you might have you heard of the name M.I. Abaga?
I have not, but that's a
M.I.
cool name.
Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
You can search him up, M.I. Abaga.
cool.
I'm personally telling you, I'm telling you that he is the greatest rapper to come out of Africa. This is what I'm
Okay.
telling you.
I'll check
This
him
is what
out.
I'm telling you. He's the greatest rapper to come out of Africa. And you can check him out. And I will tell you that he can compete with a lot of American rappers. In fact, I'm going to tell you that I know, all respect to America, you guys created hip hop and all that. And
Yeah.
obviously, he can't be the best. He can't obviously be the GOAT. Well, not when Eminem and other people are there. But I can tell you that he can compete with a lot of American rappers and he's better than a lot of them. Not all. I'm not even going to say most, but
Sure.
he's better than a lot of American rappers. Just go and check him out. M.I. Abaga.
Sure.
Like he's not just a rap genius, he's a musical genius. So like I grew up listening to him and he's like he's a genius. So he's my main inspiration when it comes to African and Nigerian hip hop. Then I also listen to other Nigerian artists and rappers like Mood Nine, Vector.
Okay.
There's another Nigerian rapper called Vector. We call him Vector the Viper. There are many of them. There are also some South African rappers like AKA, but he's dead now. God
Mm.
rest his soul. I liked his music that year, aka there's also one called Nasty C. Nasty C is quite popular amongst Americans. You might have
Huh,
not heard
okay.
of him, but Americans do know him. Yeah, so yeah, these are some people I took inspiration from. So yeah, now so basically coming back to my own like hip hop journey. So
Yeah,
yeah, so because of the kind of rappers I grew up listening to and all that, I really loved like conscious rap and hardcore rap because you know conscious rap has this thing of like expressing yourself. And one of the reasons I loved rap the most, like one of the reasons why rap is my favorite genre of music is because rap gives you the platform to like express yourself on a level that other genres of music like
sure.
can't give you. Don't get me wrong, music is all about expression, but with rap, you tend to like say everything that's on your mind because it gives you the platform to like speak as much as you want, to like construct your thing, your art, your craft in your own way and
Yeah.
all that. Rap has a lot of words and all that. So yeah, so and growing up and the kind of person I am, like my own personality, well, that might be a talk for another time. But growing up the kind of person I am, I really always look for a way to express myself and all that. And I saw it in rap music. So that is one of the things that also inspired me to like take up rap and all that. So I was releasing tracks and all that. And I dropped my first body of work in the year 2020. Though I dropped my first single, it was a cover though, a cover of a song. I dropped my
Yeah.
first single in the year 2017. Some of these songs are still on like free download sites in some
Sure.
African free download sites. But I dropped my first body of work in the year 2020. That body of work is still on Audio Mark. It's called BTSB, Before the Story Begins. So I was still releasing music up to the year 2022, but I told you I had like an identity shift and some other things. I was having identity crisis, existential crisis. I also had school things. I needed to like graduate from the university, and I also had a lot of things going on. So I had to pause the music.
Yeah.
And also, I still had some choir things because I told you I was still in the choir.
Mm.
So and I was in my final year. Like my choir, how it works that when you're in your final year, the final years of that choir, they are going to be like the authority. They are going to be like the ones like in charge of the choir. So that is another responsibility on its own. So yeah, it was overwhelming. So I had to like pause my personal music in the year 2020, in the year 2022. So that is just basically it. So as I said, I plan on resuming um next year by God's grace. So that's
Yeah.
just it about my music life.
Awesome, man. So I guess next year, hopefully, we'll be looking forward to some new music from you, an anthology of poetry.
Yeah,
That's a big
yeah,
year, man.
yeah,
That's really cool. That's
yeah,
really cool. I'm looking
yeah.
for.
Next year I plan on going all out in the world of creativity, stories, poetry, also in the music too. I need to come back to the music because I've been seeing some signs that have been making me realize that I've taken a long ass hiatus from this music and I need to resume. I've been seeing some signs.
Yeah.
Whether you I don't know what you believe in, so whether the signs are
I'm.
from God, the universe, or
Yeah.
whatever. So I've been seeing some signs and I want to believe that it's time to come back. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've talked about this on the podcast before. A little over a year ago, or just about a year ago now, I joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter Day Saints. So that's yeah,
Oh,
that's what I am. Yeah, it's a pretty cool church, honestly. Uh, I
oh, okay.
very spiritually. I feel very spiritually fulfilled by that church. So yeah,
Okay, okay. I
yeah,
respect that. I respect that. I think we used to have, even in my area, we used to have a church. Okay, yeah, I think they are still here, they are still around, but Church
yeah.
of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. But I think they moved their location. The
Okay,
location they were at before, I think they moved it, but it's still in this my vicinity. It's still
okay.
around the town I stay in. So yeah, I know the church. Well, I
Thank,
respect that.
thank you. I
I respect
appreciate
that.
it.
Though I told you
We're
I'm
all
a Catholic.
Christians, at the end of the day.
We're all Christians. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
But just FYI, just so you know, I'm
Yeah.
more of a free thinker. I'm more of a free thinker. I'm more of an agnostic.
Yeah,
Even though I'm
I
a Catholic,
I
I'm more
I
of a free
was
thinker. I'm an agnostic.
yeah, I was an atheist before I joined the church. I didn't really believe in anything, and then the church kind of turned it around for me. So it's interesting how that happens. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Um,
yeah. I've,
so
I've obviously I've lived my life too. I can't obviously I don't atheism. I'm not going to go to that. Like when you tell people you are like an agnostic or you're a free thinker, they might think, oh, you're an atheist. They don't just know that it's not. You don't necessarily
yeah,
need to be an atheist. Also, agnosticism, gnosticism, and free thinking is not necessarily atheism.
yeah,
It's just that most times people who fall under these categories are atheists, but it's not necessarily like that. It's just that you don't think like the regular religious person or so. You see God and you see like your religion in a different light and stuff
yeah,
like that. So, when I tell them this, they think, oh, I'm atheist or that. Now, I think I've seen a lot of life for me not to be able to be convinced in atheism, for me to be able to convince that there is no
yeah.
supreme being out there. I've seen some things that personally makes me believe that now there has to be someone out there, a big guy out there, stuff like that. Just that I see him in in a different light, for that. So yeah.
Yeah, I know the way that we look at agnostics in America, it's they believe in a spiritual world. They connect to nature and things like that. But they don't necessarily subscribe to a conventional idea of God. And I mean your spirit, find your spirit. That's what it's about, enriching yourself inside. So,
Okay, yeah, that might be more of Gnosticism. That might be more of Gnosticism because agnosticism is more of the ideology of
mhm,
um not being able to be sure if God exists or not. But I don't even think I'm going to even call myself an agnostic, but a little bit of an agnostic. I'm more of a Gnostic than an agnostic. What you
gotcha.
described is more of Gnosticism.
Okay.
Gnosticism are people who believe more in the ideology that salvation or God can be known, like can be gotten more of, like how do I explain it? Pardon me, sometimes I have problems with like using the right words to explain things
Sure.
sometimes. So, but in the ideology, agnosticism is the belief that no one can actually know if God exists or not.
Interesting.
Gnosticism is more of yeah, Gnosticism is more, and I stand to be corrected if I am wrong. I stand to be corrected,
Sure.
but Gnosticism is more of the ideology that to know God, you need to seek wisdom, you need to seek knowledge rather than spiritual doctrines, or not, rather than religious books or religious doctrines. Gnosticism like endorses more of knowledge, knowing God through knowledge and through research and through than more of like engaging in religious beliefs and all that. It doesn't mean that Gnosticism doesn't believe in spirituality. But Gnosticism believes spirituality is gained more from knowledge
Huh.
and
Okay.
studies and all that than actually following a religious doctrine blindly or religious teaching and stuff like that. So that is
Sure.
more of the ideology I subscribe to.
Okay. Cool. So I think we kind of went over pretty much everything at this point. Um,
Yeah,
so and I did want to ask one more thing before we go. I know that your books, a lot of them, or your short stories, a lot of them are available for free. Um,
yeah,
and then you also have your first short story that you sell through
yeah,
yeah. What is the site
yeah.
that
The
called that
book,
you sell it
um,
to?
yeah, is a Nigerian store called Seller.
Gotcha.
It's like one of the most trusted, if not the most trusted African store. Selar is a Nigerian store called Seller.
Okay.
It receives transactions from all around, from the entire globe. Anybody from any part of the world can make payments. It's just that I think it uses PayPal too, but recently I think they might be having issues with PayPal transactions. So
Sure.
mostly it uses card transactions and some other things, and that causes distrust in some, because I've met some people from America, from Europe, and others who they said they wanted to buy my book, but when they saw that the PayPal might be having issues, or some didn't even see option for PayPal. I don't know why. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's an issue from their server or something. They kind of say that now they cannot, if it's not PayPal, and it caused problems with my sales. from people from Western parts of
Yeah.
the world. It is not all, though. There are still some people who still bought, but most people who, when they came across this issue, they didn't really want to buy. But yeah, basically, is the store I trust in. I trust this store. So, and setting up my book on Amazon, like as a Nigerian, setting up my
Yeah.
book on Amazon is very tedious. The red tape involved, it's something that I said, nah, I don't have the space for that. I'm not down for that. Let me just put my stuff on seller.
Okay.
Um,
And
yeah.
honestly,
So
PayPal can be a pain. So
yeah, and it can also be a little bit of pain. PayPal can also be a little bit like stressful, especially as in Nigerian, because we also have our issues with PayPal over here too. Like
Mhm.
I think PayPal, you as a Nigerian, you can only use PayPal to send money abroad, but you can't use
Okay.
it to receive. Like
Huh.
fundamentally, you can't use it to receive money. Yeah. So if you want to use PayPal to receive money, there are some processes you have to go through to use your PayPal account to receive money as a Nigerian. And all those processes, I said, no, I'm not up for
A
that.
lot.
That's why I just put it on that store seller. So
Sure.
anybody who wants to buy, or if you don't want, anybody who wants to buy is good. If you don't want, I understand.
Sure.
So yeah.
Sure.
So currently, and the name of the book is An Unusual Boarding Experience.
Mhm.
That is the name of my book that is
Okay.
on seller. I think it's going for I think it's going for
$11.
10, no, is it $11?
$11.
Silly me,
I
I've
told you I did
forgotten how
research.
much
I
I.
did research.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did your due diligence. I
Yeah.
respect that. So yeah, it's going for $11. I think in pounds it's £8 or £9, but in
Okay.
naira it's like 3,000 naira. Yes, it's 3,000. That's in Nigerian currency, which is naira. In naira, it's 3,000 naira. In dollars, it's $11. In pounds, it's like £8 or £9, give or take. So
Okay.
yeah, and it's available on the store seller. An unusual boarding experience. I wrote this story based on like if you had read the synopsis of the if you checked out the book and you read the synopsis, you will see where I wrote that is based on a true life story or an alleged, you can see hand quotes, alleged true life story,
Yeah.
based off events I had, like when I was talking with a friend. He told me something strange and bizarre that happened to him. So it inspired me, and I asked him for his permission to write a book on his story, a short book on his story. It's just 5 chapters. I believe in short story because there's a decline in the reading culture, not just over here in Nigeria, but I think worldwide. A lot of people don't like reading because they find reading a bit stressful and boring. And even when they find it engaging, reading a long ass book is too like boring, like it's too stressful for a lot of people. And I kind of
Mhm.
understand because a lot of people's the average attention span is short these days. Like
Yeah.
based on I know partially is social media is because of this.
Mhm.
Social media is because of this. I'm not going to deny that. But apart from that, apart from the distractions and social media, people have their own lives to live and they have things to get to. So I understand why their attention span is short these days. So that's why I write short stories and short books. So my book is just 5 chapters long. So someone can just read it, get to the main idea, and enjoy the story and look forward to doing another thing with his or her life. And also, another reason why my stories are short, including my book, is because me myself, it's not as if I don't like reading long books, but I like.
Mhm.
I found out that both and now this thing isn't just pertaining to like fiction. I also found out that it is also applicable to self-help books. I found out that a lot of books are unnecessarily long. They are
Sure.
unnecessarily long. Like that's what I found out, that you can just go straight to the point and tell the story. You don't need to add too much fluff and all and so on. Yes, I know all these things spice up the stories and the books, but you don't need to add all these fluffs. You can just go straight to the point. So I think that's also what inspired me to like be making my stories and my books short. So I'm
Awesome.
still going to write a full length novel though. Though I first plan on writing a novella before writing a full length novel, a full length novel rather. I first plan on writing a novella before writing a full length novel. But for now, I'm just going to be writing short stories, and even the next set of books I'm going to be writing, they are going to be just maybe 7 chapters, 10 chapters, just short. So someone can
Okay.
read the story, will not be too bored, I will not feel that this thing is too long and I don't think I can finish it. And I just want someone to read it and finish it and like the story. So that is even what inspires me to write short stories. So because I would like to write something that I can read and finish, and I know that people's lives attention span are short. So yeah, that's why I write short stories. So that's just basically why I wrote that book, and why it's just 5 chapters. So yeah, my stories are mostly for free, but this book is on sale, yeah, like on the store seller. And as I
Yeah.
said, it's going for $11 in pounds, £9.
Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yeah, I can't hear you now. I don't know what happened.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
There we
now?
go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I said again to reiterate, the book is available on the store seller
Hmm.
for $11 in pounds, £9 sterling, in naira, 3,000 naira.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
that
and
is just
honestly,
an unusual body experience.
that's a very reasonable price. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up. We've gone for just about an hour. That's a
Yes.
pretty good length of
Yes.
time. Um,
Yeah. Pretty, yeah. Pretty
yeah, if
lengthy.
there's anything you want to say real quick before we go, you can go ahead and have the floor. Um,
Okay. So yeah. Thank you for having me on this show. I really appreciate it. And that is, I always like engaging with people. I always like connecting to people, especially let me not say especially, because it might seem like I have inferiority complex, but I also like engaging with people from different regions. Like I've
mhm,
met people from India, I've met people from the US, I've met people from the UK, and I always like meeting more people from America too. And I'm happy to have met you. So thank you for having me on this show, and giving me a spotlight to like maybe your audience, who I know are predominantly Americans. I appreciate that. Then
mhm,
also, yeah, as I said, my name is Charles Enek. I am a writer. I am also like an online teacher.
mhm,
I teach kids from different parts of the world, um, primarily English and mathematics. I teach kids from elementary school to middle school, English and mathematics. Sometimes I even engage high school students, but mostly elementary school to middle school, because I believe those are the ones whose minds we can form, we can like mold early. Once you mold them early, then at the advanced level, like the work becomes easier. So yeah, so I teach kids from, and I'm a private tutor. Um, I don't teach like in an established school. I teach like one-on-one lesson online, because
uh,
I believe those are the most effective. Yeah, because even I myself, when I was a young kid, I needed private tutors because I didn't really understand a lot of the things I was being taught at school, at
mhm,
my schools. Yeah, so all the things that were being taught at my schools, I wasn't understanding them. So I needed private tutors. And even the private tutors, not all of them could teach me in the way I understood. Not all of them taught me the way I understood. So it was just like a select few who knew how to break things down to the fundamental level, because I think a lot of them understood that I had like a foundational problem. And that's one of the things that inspires me in my teaching, because if I can help people who actually had these issues like me, or who rather had these issues, yeah, these issues like me, people who actually had these issues like me, if I can help them navigate this, if I can help kids navigate these academic issues, then why shouldn't I? I had these issues, and I had someone out of the myriad of home tutors I had, only a few were able to teach me in the way I understood. So if I can teach kids in the way they can understand, break things down to them in simple ways they can understand, then why wouldn't I do that? And I thank God I'm doing it now. And the parents of the current kids I teach, they appreciate me. So yeah, so that's one of my passions. That's one of my passions for teaching. So yeah, I'm also open to more teaching roles in case anyone like watching this might want to like solicit my services. So yeah, that's for my teaching aspect. And I told you I'm a writer. I write scary short stories, three behind them, like the mystery behind them engaging. I write that's why I write scary short stories. And
Mhm.
yeah, basically that is it. And as I told you, it's not really easy as a Nigerian because you are battling with a lot of things. I told you all the factors you have to battle with. There's also one factor I forgot to bring in, societal factor.
Sure.
Like
Yeah. Yep.
as you said, the culture in America is different. Sorry, I keep moving. I'm trying to find the best
Ah,
lighting. So
no worries.
yeah, you know, fun fact is 10:22 p.m. over here in Nigeria.
Ah, wow. Yeah.
So
Pretty late.
yeah, yeah. We are 5 hours ahead of you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, as I was saying, the cultural disparity between Nigeria and America and even other Western countries, it's wide
Yeah.
because growing up, we're taught go to school, get good grades, go and get a professional job, a career job. I think that's why you asked me if most courses in Nigeria are
Mhm.
more of career courses than creative courses. Because we believe we are we are. I don't know if I'm going to say traditional because though there's still a cultural shift going on with wokeness and quote unquote wokeness
Yeah.
and the modern era and other things. But in as much as that we are still a sub-Saharan African country, so our values are always going to be fundamentally like
Mm.
what is that word? I don't want
Uh,
to use I don't want to use a cake, but it's going to be fundamentally traditional. Let me just use traditional.
yeah.
Let me just say conservative. Our
Sure.
values are going to be fundamentally conservative because they are always going to be like the normal values of go to school, get good grades, get a good paying job, get a wife and a child and all that, those stuff like that. So and because and apart from that, we are also a highly, this is we are an African country
Mm.
and we are a country like that is home to 500 indigenous languages, at
Ah.
least 500 known indigenous languages. Though there are three main tribes in Nigeria:
Mhm.
Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. These are the three main tribes in Nigeria. I am an Igbo man. I am from southeast of Nigeria. So,
Right.
but there are over 500 tribes, major. There are over 500 known tribes in Nigeria. But out of these over 500 tribes in Nigeria, there are three major tribes: Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. So, um, and we are a traditional country. So our values are going to be, they are not going to be as liberal as Western values.
Okay. Sure.
No
Yeah.
matter how developed we get, no matter how advanced we get in technology, in education, in culture, in pop culture, and other things, we are still going to maintain our fundamental, like traditional values, because we are Africans. We are cultural people. We are highly cultural. So
Yeah.
and this most of these fundamental values are always um are always grounded on like are always grounded on the the general and the conservative aspect of go to school, get good grades and all that. So imagine when you want to like say, okay, you want to like you dare to escape from the metrics as a creative, or you dare to attempt to escape the metrics as a creative. Imagine
Mm.
when you dare do that. Like there's going to be like backlash from the society.
Yeah.
The society is first going to like want to like discourage you from like chasing that creative line you want to go
Yeah.
into. Family likely might discourage you. And even if family encourages you, even if your family encourages you, there's only so much support they can give you.
Right. Sure.
So you cannot have that kind of support as to when you are in like a system that values creativity. And also here we don't really value creativity that much. Like
Yeah.
only maybe youth might value the creativity and all that. Even maybe even some older generations, some people from the older generations might value these things. But we are still we are still I'm looking for the word, but you understand what I'm saying. Like our
Yeah, I do.
values are still fundamental. They are still traditional. They are still conservative. So they are not really open-minded to things like creativity and all that. So we also creatives here also face societal and family pressures and
Yeah,
all that. So these are things that actually weighs people down, and that's why I told you that even that adage, that Nigerian adage, where some people say that anybody who gives up is the one who fucked up. I
yeah,
don't always subscribe to it because it's not easy to go through all these things and still like maintain that passion. It's not easy.
yeah,
It's really not easy at all. So, and right now, even me, the fact that I can even maintain my passion to an extent is because, to an extent,
hmm,
like, and when I say to an extent, I mean in Nigerian terms, not even like on a broader scale, not even like compared to Western countries and more um like when I say Western countries, I mean like richer countries and all that,
yeah, sure.
and not even Eastern countries that are richer compared to other countries that are more advanced in maybe finances, development, and economy and all that. Compared to all these countries who value creativity and all these things, um, over here, as I said, you are going to face societal pressure and all that. But what I'm just trying to say is that, and societal pressure and all that, and lack of support and other things. But what I'm just trying to say is that even I, even though I am still able to like create to this point, mind you, I still have my own battles I'm facing. But compared to some other creatives, I'm a little bit privileged than them because there are some things that they might lack, I might have.
Yeah,
So that's
sure.
even one of the reasons why I can even still continue in my line of creativity. There are some
Yeah,
things I might have that they might like lack. I'm not battling over shelter, even though I still live with my mom and my parents. So I'm
yeah,
not battling over shelter. Yeah, so some people are fighting over rent and all that. Some people are battling issues of rent. I don't have a problem with food on my table.
hmm,
It's not as if I don't work my ass off to put this food on my table, but it's not like I'm saying that I'm battling with food. But some people might have this issue. They have to work their ass off to put food on their table and all that. Obviously, I still work my ass off to put food on my table, but it's not as if like it's like a serious issue for me. I don't know if you get
yeah,
what I'm saying. It's not like a serious issue for me. So then yeah, so and also I also have access to one or two facilities that maybe an average, let me not even say an average because many Nigerians still have these things, but I still have access to one or two facilities that maybe some Nigerians may not even have. So that's why I say that even compared to some people, I might be a bit privileged, but it doesn't mean that I am that much privileged also. Stuff like that. So that's why I might it might even seem like I might. That's why it's even like if I'm sorry. That's why it might even seem
um,
that I'm still able to like follow my line of creativity to an extent because of I still have some things that are still encouraging me. But even at that, I still face a lot of challenges. So that's why
hmm,
I'm just going to let you know it's not really easy, man. So
yeah,
yeah,
man.
that's it.
Yeah. Well, Charles,
Yeah,
I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I mentioned in the beginning that you were a teacher, and then as we were talking, it's I didn't get it into the conversation, so I appreciate you bringing it back to that. I think it's very important that people um, know that side of you, and this discussion
yeah,
about not just your art, but about Nigerian culture compared to American culture and things has been it's been really really cool, man. This has been a cool conversation, and I'm proud to present it to people. So I hope people not only get something about you out of it and your art, but also about our cultures as a whole. Is this has been fun, man. So yeah, I guess we're gonna go ahead and sign off. So again, Charles, thank you so much.
yeah,
Please check out if you need a tutor, check
yeah.
Charles
Thank you,
Enek
Pete, for
out.
having me.
Yeah, thank you, man. Don't forget to check out his books
Yeah, yeah,
and all and his music. Next year is going to be a big year for him, so we'll definitely support him. And I want
yeah,
everyone who watches the podcast to support him too. Um,
yeah.
I, of course, man. I want to thank my producer Tyler Martin.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Yeah, we could not make this podcast happen
Yeah,
without
thank you,
him.
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler's been supporting me for over a year now, and he does a hell of a job, man. So thank you so much, Tyler. Thank you to everyone who checks out this podcast and our music podcast. My taste in music sucks. Um, that's been a lot of fun, and this
You
next
can't be
couple of
that bad.
yeah, it's fun. It's sarcastic. It's a fun podcast. Um, and
Yeah. I get.
the next couple weeks we'll be having Jen Christie on the show, and we'll also be having the members of the band Brain Dead by Sunday. So that's gonna be fun to check out. And yeah, just keep on supporting us, man. We haven't sold any shirts yet. Go buy some Most Excellent Entertainment shirts. we throw Tyler a couple bucks. All right, but anyway, I am Keith. It has been my pleasure to have this conversation, and we'll be back next week
My
with more
pleasure
Most
too. The
Excellent
pleasure is
Entertainment.
mine.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Keith. One more thing, Keith. One
Oh,
more
sure,
thing.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, please. To everyone watching this, please don't forget to check me out on all social media platforms. Charles Enek, IG Charles Enek, Twitter Charles Enek, Facebook Charles Enek, even LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn to Charles Enek.
Sure.
I'm still working on getting my YouTube set up, but yeah, just these 4 platforms for now. So everywhere Charles Enek, that's my real name. Just check it out, Charles
Yeah.
Enek. You will see my picture. So follow me on all social media platforms or any social media platform of your choice. Follow me and please check out my work. Support me as much as possible. I really appreciate it. If you need a tutor for your kid, I'm actually good with kids. Kids love me though. So if you need a tutor for your kids, math, English, or science, even creative writing, I teach that too. So follow out your boy. So yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Keith, again for having me. I really appreciate it. God bless you, man. I'm glad to have met you. So yeah.
You too, man.
Peace out.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Take care.